Like you.
Like me what?
Loose and falling out.
Oh, God. Happy Juneteenth. Or I don't want to date this in case we put it out in like 4 weeks.
It's not going to be 4 weeks.
That's true. It's going to be a few days. Our Juneteenth episode is out, though, that we recorded talking about... What? What's so funny?
Because you're acting like we did it like on purpose and we didn't. It just so happened to coincide.
They don't need to know.
Well, I just told them. I'm honest with the people.
No.
What?
You cannot, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. He's naked.
Oh, God.
So, our Juneteenth episode is out where we discuss the Supreme Court case about segregation when it comes to voting and gerrymandering and why the people need to stop shitting on the South. That having been said, we have another episode coming out after that, and then this episode coming out. So just giving a little programming update. So by the time you will hear this, we'll be caught up.
By the time you hear this, it'll probably be July.
Oh, bullshit. We're not that lame.
So we wanted to...
Not nailed.
We wanted to make this a little bit more cultural because the last few have been very politically heavy.
Dense.
Don't lump me into your density.
I'm actually using this as a title. So culture.
Ma'am. He just flashed his tits at me.
I didn't flash my tits at you.
I saw utter.
That's our cultural update. I think our cultural update is it's that La Quinta Inn, or maybe it's a Days Inn that's off of the 405. That it's the La Quinta Inn Hooters combo. But the S is out on the. Have I showed you this on the 405 in Fountain Valley?
I don't think so.
Okay. To give people an idea.
Oh, wait, yes.
Fountain Valley is this very, very nice suburb with, beautiful Costco, very Asian traditional neighborhood. But like lots of companies are located there. Like Hyundai has their corporate offices there. Vans has their corporate offices there. And so it's like this very like nice area. But right off of the freeway, it is like the Quinta Inn and Hooters combo, which I've never seen ever.
Like the combo as in like they're in the same building?
Yes.
Like they share a building?
Hooters is the restaurant for the La Quinta Inn.
Oh, God.
But to take it to another level, I love that the S on the Hooters sign is burned out. So it just says Hooter. After a certain time, there's only one. It's like those strip clubs that say like thousands of beautiful women and 3 ugly ones. Have you seen that sign too?
No.
Yes. So I think it's called Showgirls. It's on Hollywood Boulevard.
I just assume you make this shit up.
No. It's literally, that's their slogan. It's like thousands of beautiful women and 3 ugly ones. It's right on Hollywood Boulevard, right across from Iguana.
So you, me, and Colin are the ugly ones?
It's the scene in Cannonball Run. I don't know if it was the first one or the second one. I think it was Cannonball Run 2, where they had Dom DeLuise and Burt Reynolds and Sammy Davis Jr. in drag. It dressed up as Arabian women singing "Stop in the Name of Love" to a very confused Charles Nelson Riley, who was Don Don, the mobster that owned the joint up in Nevada. And it was the greatest scene ever.
I swear you make this shit up.
That all happened. Anyway, lovely weekend. But back to beeswax. We went to Whole Foods today. And I have to say, I don't know about the people who are out there, but I've noticed that this country is still in the grips of a very big inflation crisis. Everything costs more. Gas does. Groceries do.
Alcohol does.
Hooters do. Alcohol does. When they raise the price on $2 vodka sundaes at Revolver, it's bad.
Which, by the way,
$3 now.
No,
What?
They're not. They're $5.
What?
Because I got 2 drinks yesterday and they charged me $10, and I was like,
to Revolver?
"Yeah." That's where you took the picture that you posted.
I know.
And you asked for the expensive shit, and I didn't get it for you. I got you the cheap shit, and guess what? It was still $5.
$5. That's when you know it's bad.
So yeah, it in what, a year and a half? It's maybe 2 years.
That's an 150% markup.
Over the course of 2 years, it's gone from $2 to $5.
An 150% markup. If that was on any other thing that was not an under $5 item, you would go crazy. You'd be like, why? Why is this?
Right.
I feel like the people who from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, where it's like they go to I remember my dad saying in the 80s, he went to the plaza and got a cup of coffee and it was $4. And he was like floored. Because that was where you could go places and coffee was never more than $1.
Right.
Like you go to a diner and it's like 10 to 50 cents. And it was like $4 at the Plaza Hotel. Now you can't get $4 coffee anywhere.
Maybe McDonald's.
No, I think that they've raised. I don't think it's $1 anymore at McDonald's.
I don't know.
We went to In-N-Out the other day, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4 hamburgers and an order of fries and 2 cups of water, and it was cheap. That was like $15. If we would have gone to McDonald's or Carl's Jr., that would have been over $20
easily.
Because it's just,
and it would have been. It would have been shittier quality.
10 times, it would have been so much shittier. I love In-N-Out. I love the whole family. I love the story. They do a good job. It's worth the hype.
Yeah, no, it's good.
But prices are going up.
But you were mentioning Whole Foods. I'm sorry.
Yes, I was saying prices are going up. And when you think expensive, liberal sandal-wearing grocery store, you think Whole Foods. Because for a lot of its existence, it has been. And
they don't call it whole paycheck for nothing.
No, and I remember going there years and years ago when I was a kid. We went to the one in Monterey for the first time, and it was like, what is this magical place where they just have... That was before you even had cheese sections in stores. Like now you even go to Ralph's or like your Kroger, and there's like...
They have the fine cheese section.
Yes. That was before. Going in there and seeing that there was a cheese thing where they would let you try anything was like it blew your mind. I was like, oh my God, like maybe someday we'll have one of these in Fresno, which it took another 15 years for that to happen. But, okay, so we're walking through Whole Foods and I'm like, oh my God, everything's very nice. And it was very expensive. And it's called Whole Paycheck because you can go there and spend $100 and walk out with 2 bags of groceries. Well, we went there.
And now we have Erewhon, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Erewhon, yes, exactly. Now... Amazon's bought them and basically ruined their ordering system. So they're frequently out of a lot of things. I don't know if you've noticed this, but you even saw it in some of the prepared food areas where there were just empty platters.
Yeah.
They just be out, and you have to deal with it. So Amazon took over their ordering. They bought them, and so sometimes they'll be out of things. Sometimes they won't have things. So it's a lot more inconsistent than it used to be. But their meat quality is top-notch.
Yes.
Their seafood quality is top-notch. Their produce is very good.
Yeah.
Cheeses and things like that. Their prepared foods, like you said, are hit and miss now.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier is I remember, when we were younger, when going to Whole Foods was like a treat.
Yes.
Because they weren't, everywhere. Their their prepared foods would be impeccable. The pasta salads, the chicken salads, like all of that stuff would be delicious.
Yes.
And that's when I was growing up, that's what a lot of people went there for. Like they couldn't afford to go, buy their meat or whatever.
Like it would be, you cannot spend $100 on dinner ingredients.
Right.
But you could go there and get some of their prepared foods because they'd have specials on certain days and stuff like that. And it would be like a...
And you wouldn't mind paying because it was good quality. Like it was good food, it was good quality, it was whole food.
You'll pay $7-8 for a very, very good pasta salad with chicken in it.
Right. So if you're, if a quick dinner or if you're having a party or something like that, like you'd go get it. And they were impeccable.
Right.
They have now become so bland and tasteless and just like, I know it's still real food. It's still whole food. Like it's still, good quality ingredients. They just don't have any flavor anymore. Like
I think that they've tried to become a lot more inoffensive because there's people going there like it's too salty, it's too spicy, it's too this, it's too that, and they are hit and miss. And I think a good example is, I don't know if anyone else who's listening to this can confirm this. They used to have a sandwich called the Golden Gate Sandwich, and it was on 2 big slices of focaccia, and it was gorgeous roasted turkey, thick cut bacon, a sun-dried tomato spread, like an aioli, and spinach, and avocado. And a lot of avocado. Not just a little bit. Like, they were generous. Like, it's basically like a half of avocado on each half of the sandwich.
Right.
And it was like $8, $9 for a sandwich. I think they're $10 now. Now they've replaced it with another tomato sandwich another sun-dried tomato spread turkey sandwich that has most of the same ingredients. It's on ciabatta now, a little bit smaller. It's $10. And whatever Whole Foods you go to, it had jack cheese too, white jack cheese. Whatever Whole Foods you go to, they vary wildly in consistency. So one place they'll toast it, even if you don't ask them. Another place they'll give you one slice of turkey. Another place it'll be way too much turkey and like no other ingredients. Another place will forget the bacon. Like they're just kind of like they just sort of slap it together. Some are better than others.
Well, and I want to get to the story of what happened to us today, but
Yes.
I found it interesting because when I moved to Albuquerque, and that was in 2013, Whole Foods was still not so ubiquitous as to be like, you know,
Right.
something you could see like on almost every corner.
Yes.
So right across the street from my first apartment in Albuquerque was one of the original Whole Foods because it was an old building. Like it had been there clearly for a long time, and it was a very small one.
Right.
So I had within a mile of my apartment like 3 different places. So I would go to like, it's not Ralph's.
Was it Fred Meyer there? Or no, Fry's.
No,
It's Fry's in Arizona.
whatever the Kroger equivalent is in Albuquerque, it has its own name. But anyway, one of the Kroger affiliates. I would go. It's going to drive me crazy that I can't remember the name. Anyway,
Smith's.
Yes, Smith's. Thank you. I would go there.
In every state, it's something different.
Right. I would go there and get staples. Like they had pretty good meat. You know, stuff like that. Stuff that was
on
kind
sale
of cheap,
too,
yeah.
because it'll be like really cheap for like normal.
Or like
things.
mayo and jarred stuff. But then I would go to Sprouts and get the bulk stuff like
Dry goods.
nuts and stuff. Yeah, rice, nuts in the big barrels like Sprouts has.
You can't beat the dry goods per pound or the produce at Sprouts. Also, their deli sandwiches.
I would go to Whole Foods for the produce because I always found it was better quality than Sprouts. It was more expensive, but it was better quality.
That's interesting because Whole Foods is, from produce people's perspective, it's one of the hardest stores to get into because they are militant about things being organic, things being this, and things being and things being first pick. Like they get first dibs compared to most other stores.
It might just have been this
Might
particular
have
Sprouts,
changed,
but
yeah.
the point
Produce
is
usually produce at Sprouts is good, but Sprouts, their produce is cheap because they get the odd sizes. So they'll get this. They'll get lemons, but they're small lemons. They'll get grapes, but they're like odd shaped grapes.
So I am, you know me, and I've gotten away from this, but I was such a control freak and such a scheduled person that I would sit down like on Sunday morning and I would schedule. This is what I'm having for dinner throughout the week.
Right.
And I would make my list. I would go to the 3 grocery stores to get, things at different places and then come back home and either prep, for whatever I needed. But that was my Sunday rituals. Church where I would sing, then I would go to the 3 grocery stores and then, make dinner and prep for the week.
Right.
So,
and also another thing about Albuquerque, it's another day's drive for the produce and everything. So you're getting everything a day after.
that could be.
So that is, and that's always with Vegas too. I'm suspect sometimes of getting like seafood there because I'm like, unless they flew it in this morning,
Oh no.
there is no way that you're gonna have oysters from a truck.
No. I did not buy seafood in Albuquerque.
Like the people at the sushi restaurant used to work at, and they're like, "Was this fresh? Was this fresh caught?"
She asked, "Is this fresh?" And when the guy was like, "Oh, I'm not sure how to answer that," he goes, "It was fresh cut this morning," and she goes, "But was it ever frozen?" And that's when I was like, We're in the desert. Yes, it was frozen. Like, I'm sorry, madam. This was not...
Madam?
We cannot sell you a sushi roll for $5 when it was, flown in this morning. Just stupid people. Anyway.
Never get sushi in the desert.
It wasn't bad, but it was previously frozen. But that's why it was cheap.
But if you're going to get sushi in the desert, get spicy tuna or something that's like otherwise preserved. Don't get sashimi in the desert. Okay, I should be fair. You can get an avocado roll, that's fine. But there's plenty of wonderful foods that you can get that are local. Always eat based on your community. Like the guy in St. Louis had the oyster and died.
And New Mexican food is actually pretty good. It's not Mexican food. It's similar, but it's not the same.
Lots of beautiful pork and meats and beef and everything. It's raised right there. But yes.
But today in Whole Foods.
Whole Foods. Oh. So
the service is horrible.
Yes. So what happened was I have the Amazon blah blah scan your in-store code. They have a thing where you can scan your palm now, and I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. Like I will not. I will put my dick on that scanner before I put my palm on it. That's fucking creepy. Number one. Number two, they have a little thing where you can log in on your whole and you can create your shopping list, whatever on your phone. And so I was like, okay, what deals do they have this week? You enter your zip code and it says, this is the deals at your store this week, which generally means they have those things in stock, or it should. So they had the burgers, and it was $4.99 a pound for already made and already seasoned ground beef. So one of them was jalapeno cheddar. Another one was like a Toronto, like a steak seasoning, Montreal steak seasoning. Great. Okay. So we get those. We get the corn, 5 ears for $2. That's pretty damn good for Whole Foods. The only place that you can...
Especially because it's nice. It's a good quality.
Right. It was good. It was beautiful white corn. Like, the only place I think that could beat you on that is the Mexican markets, but it's a good price. Okay. So 5 ears of corn for $2, $4.99 a pound for ground beef. And it's $3.99 a pound for the regular, just the 80/20 on Tuesdays, which is kind of nice. So if you're ever making a pasta or anything like that, go on Tuesdays as a Prime member and you get beef on sale. Okay. The gelato, beautiful thing of gelato. This blows Talenti out of the water. This
Nancy
Reagan.
Shit. Now I'm losing names today.
Out of the fucking
I know.
Freezer.
No,
right here.
very prominent and well-known chef made her own versions of gelatos and ice creams.
Is it Nancy Silverton? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll read this here and I'll close it first. So Nancy Silverton, who is a very successful chef. Nancy Silverton's Nancy's Fancy. It's a butterscotch budino gelato with a caramel rosemary swirl. And it's unbelievable.
It's really, really good. And the rosemary is subtle, but there. It's not like you're eating a sprig of rosemary that's so powerful, but it's also...
a little earthy, herby
there.
Taste.
And it is an amazing pairing. I've had rosemary and grape. I've made rosemary grape sauce.
Oh.
That's delicious over ice cream. I've never heard of rosemary and caramel, and it's
because a lot of people
amazing.
do salt and straw now, where you go and you get the cone, and it's very it's very artisan. Like they still make a goat cheese ice cream. It's very artisan, but this is like something you would get in a very, very fine restaurant. They would bring as a palate cleanser or for the dessert. So it's very good. $4.99. It was cheaper than Talenti, which I have to say, Talenti's they were bought by Unilever or Nestle or one of those companies. It's kind of fallen off.
Mm.
When Talenti first came out, it had a lot of flavor to it. It's a lot more kind of now.
I have a friend in Albuquerque who will buy Talenti when it's on sale just because she doesn't like Tupperware, so she'll use the Talenti.
Oh!
She'll reuse the Talenti
I have
cups.
put coins in there. I put pencils in there. The Talenti cups. You
put lube in there.
You put... You know that the Talenti cups are a sign of a resourceful household.
But they're indestructible. I'll give them that. They do not break
one.
easily.
Yeah. They're
not thin.
Look, it's better than having the Hellman's mayonnaise, plastic container. That's embarrassing. So, or no. The Daisy sour cream container that's used for like push pins or whatever little leftover thing you have at the house.
No, my grandmother, you would open her refrigerator, and any given day it was just tons and tons of Cool Whip or butter containers, and you never knew what was in them because you have to open it to find out, is this actually Cool Whip or is this her leftovers from 2 nights ago?
If you see the Country Crock container being used for leftovers, that's down bad.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. But that was...
She was an old woman who grew up partially in the Depression.
But that's when
kept
Tupperware was
everything.
expensive. Like, you can go and get the disposable Ziploc containers for like a couple bucks. That was when Tupperware was like...
You had parties.
And you couldn't buy it retail. Someone would have to come sell it to you at your house, and it's expensive, like the Cutco knives. So anyway, Whole Foods, we get our gelato. We already had buns. And so the last thing was they had a buy one, get one free on this red potato salad, which looked really good in the picture. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we walk over to the prepared foods area where they have...
And I will preface this story by saying I've never worked so hard to find potato salad.
I've never worked so hard to find anything at a grocery store in my life. We go to the prepared food section. We look in like the silver trays, so it's not there. They have chicken salad, shrimp salad, all this other stuff. Okay. We go to the case, because it's all glass lit cases now, which are kind of, a little bit dystopian, but okay. Open it up. No fucking potato salad. They have regular potato salad, but it's not the one that's on sale, which for buy one, get one free, you don't buy it by the pound. It's already in a container.
Right. And I believe it was like almost $7 for like a small container.
So it's not cheap.
Yeah.
So I asked the guy who's stocking the case, I'm like, hey, like, do you know where this is? Like, it's called like red something potato salad. Like, I show him on my, and he looks, he's like, with his AirPods in, he's like, you want to ask the deli? It's not there? I was like, no. I wouldn't ask you if it was there. Come on. You should ask that guy behind the deli does all the salads. Ask him. He knows where all the salads are. Okay. I walk to the deli counter to the kid who's like 10. Like, I don't think this kid has graduated middle school yet. And I ask him about the potato salad. He's like,
He stared at your phone for like 2 minutes at least, like just staring at it,
looking at it like I had like nuclear codes or something, and he was trying to memorize them.
Or like he was gonna glean something from just staring at the
I thought like maybe by osmosis he would absorb the information, but he just looked at me and looked at my phone, and he was like, yeah, you're gonna have to ask somebody else about that. I don't know.
I thought he said you're gonna have to ask the guy over there who's stalking about it.
No,
and you're like,
not him. No,
I just did.
He gestured at someone who was non-existent. He gestured into the void. He's like, you have to ask, what? Like
that old woman looking at the cheese over there. Ask her.
The woman with sport face lips. You have to ask her. She's not even an employee, but she's here enough. It was the most like just space, and so I'm like. Okay. So the nice thing about Whole Food stores now is if you have an Amazon return, you don't have to box it up and take it back. You just take it to the store, they scan a thing, a QR code, and, it goes back. You have to repackage it, you don't have to pay for the shipping, nothing. So it's very handy. So there's a return desk that's by the prepared food section where people normally sit to eat. Used to be the smoothie bar. I guess no one drinks smoothies anymore. That's another thing we have to talk about. Smoothies are out. But
not at Erewhon.
Well, that's another story. Jamba Juice is hurting. But I try to find the return lady because I might as well return the package too. That's why I came here. No one. So the woman who's monitoring the self-checkout stand runs over, and she's like, "Okay, I'll get that for you." And I was like, "Hey, by the way, do you know where this I was looking at Red Hill. Do you know where this Red Hill potato salad is?" She stared at it, and I'm like, "Oh no, jeez!" Like I'm not playing some weird porn on my screen or something that requires more than just a cursory glance. It just says Red Hill potato salad, buy one, get one free, and a picture of a bowl of potato salad. It's not hard.
And they act like they've never seen this or heard of this before, and it's like it's on sale in your store.
It's something that I believe your store sells. Like, I'm not like, do you know where these tires are? Like, do you have a 16... do you have the Z15 Pirellis? And they're like, what? I'm like, no, it's potato salad. It's Whole Foods. You should have potato salad. Okay. So she looks at it and she's like, you might want to talk to the it's not in the deli case? And I'm like, again, another person asked, I hate when people ask you a question like, you're stupid, right? You didn't look at the place that you should have looked at first? And I'm like, yes, I did. I looked there. I wouldn't be asking you if I didn't look there. I'm I'm not like your usual clientele that's 80 and dementia.
I was about to say, to their credit, they probably do get a lot of
They
people who
probably
are just like, can you tell me where this is before they even look at
And
it?
by the way,
Look for
you
it.
can say this. I was nice, right? I was very polite.
Yeah.
I was a little shady because I said I asked 2 other people and they didn't know anything, which is true. I didn't say they were stupid. I should have. But they clearly, not even just not knowing anything, were 0% interested in finding out. And now at this point, it's become a quest.
And it didn't look like they were busy. Well, the one guy stalking, he was doing something.
He was just moving around cold brew. The
But
other
the
guy
one-
staying behind the deli was just standing there. He wasn't doing anything.
There was no one asking for a burrito.
There was no line. There was nothing.
He was literally just standing
Just
there, and he acted like he
taking
was
up space.
he was so inconvenienced by you asking him a question.
By the way, also, before people are like, these people don't get paid enough to. These people at Whole Foods make more than I do. Like, you get paid very well to work there. You get benefits, you get vacations, you get to touch Jeff Bezos' wife's tit. You get to do a lot of stuff, okay? I don't get to do that. Great. So, she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, does anybody know where the... Okay. I was like, is the manager available? Which I never, ever want to ask for a manager in any
Karen.
situation. I think that I have asked for a manager twice in my life. One time was in a restaurant when the experience really was horrible. Like, the food was horrible. And the manager was an asshole, so I haven't asked for a manager in 2 years since then. But this, I was like, okay, I just need help. Can anyone help me? Like, everyone's just wildly uninterested.
And at this point, I was about ready to be like, we just don't need potato salad. Let's
He's like,
just
I can
go.
make quinoa at home. I'm like, that's not the same. We're having burgers. We're having corn. I want my fucking potato salad. I'm an American, goddammit. It's Juneteenth. I ain't picking no more cotton. So, okay. We go and find... I see her walk over to where the manager is, who is at the juice bar. There is a juice bar there, on the far end. And they're both talking to each other, and they look at me in a very concerning way. Like, I'm like about to be institutionalized. Like, I'm about to be 5150 in the Whole Foods. Again!
He's asking too many questions about the potato salad.
Like, I found like an Easter egg on their website or something that like that means they have to press a button and I fall into a pit full of alligators.
Wait a minute, maybe that's the one item that they put on there to, like, for people to be like, hey, where's the wink wink potato salad? And they give you, like, you know, a Chinese hooker.
No one brought me Coke. No one brought me Coke at Whole Foods. And so they don't even sell it there. Surprisingly. So I finally walk up to whatever their conversation is because I knew that they were talking in a way that was like, I don't know what he's talking about. And just placate him. So I go to the manager who's very nice and asks, how are you? Which I know they tell them in training to do so that they can, like, in case I'm like aggressive or I'm just standing there in a tank top. Like, I'm not breaking shit. I'm not visibly angry. If anything, I'm more like confused. I'm just very confused. I don't know where the potato salad is. Like, it's that point in my life. So I asked the manager, and the manager does not say, I will find it for you. The manager says, did you ask the prepared foods manager? And I'm like, first of all, I don't know who that is. I don't have I don't have the staffing list of the Whole Foods here in front of me. I'm like, aha, I need to ask Rachel Hernandez where the no. So when they ask if you've already asked somebody else, it's basically like, please don't bother me with this. And I'm like, okay, that's bad. So he and I walk over to the deli area together, and he stands there. He's like, oh yeah, I don't see it. And
He
like,
points out where it should be, and it's like,
it's supposed to be here. And I'm like, well, if it was there.
but the thing is, there was no hole. Like, it wasn't like it was sold out. Like,
there was no hole at this Whole Foods.
There was no place that was empty where clearly, like, something should have been there and it's been sold out.
It's not. Yeah, I'm not retarded. I'm not like trying to ask.
just
him if
was
it's in the
never
back.
there.
I'm like, is there a SKU? Is there something I can find? Like, it doesn't say what aisle it's on. It's not like Home Depot or Lowe's at Whole Foods where it's just like, aisle 16, bay 2. Like, please don't ask us. So he goes into the deli, like behind the doors, into the secret part of the deli where they, I don't know, slaughter pigs or something. I don't fucking know. And he goes and ostensibly talks to somebody who, I don't know who it is back. It's like the Wizard of Oz. I don't know who hides back in the Whole Foods, like, little secret compartment. And he walks out and he's like, okay, well, yeah, it should be here. I haven't seen that before. And I'm like, He's like, and then he starts talking about, he's like, that's a promotional item, you know, we do worldwide promotions and blah, blah, blah. And we really are taught to push those items, and if we don't push them, then they should be there. I'm going to make sure that, I'm like, first of all, I'm like, it's not that serious. Like, I'm not going to not come to Whole Foods again if they're out of potato salad. I'm just going to, you know, accept it and move on and not rely on the coupon system again. But he will not let me lose faith in the coupon system at Whole Foods. He walks back to the case. He pulls out 2 containers of classic potato salad and says, what's the deal again? It's okay, I'll honor it. Whatever it is, just take these. And I'm like, okay. We go to the self-checkout, and he puts them on the left side of the scale. And he's like, it's you don't have to scan it. I'm like, all right. But, so basically, we got potato salad for free.
Right. I thought he was going to at least, like, put something in there to, like...
Put in, like, a thing saying, you know, $3.99, like, I'm going to get fired. But he just said, I'll take a picture of it and move it. And then he just walked off. And I'm like, okay. So we'd scan the rest of our groceries. By the way, 6 burger patties, pre-seasoned, 2 containers of potato salad, 5 ears of fresh corn, white corn, and the butterscotch gelato. Total was $21.90. It was so cheap. And I'm sure there's someone there in Iowa who's like, I can get it even cheaper. Well, fuck you. You know?
For California, that's cheap.
That's pretty cheap for a little
so
home barbecue.
The moral of this whole story is that I have now witnessed you steal a sandwich and potato salad
and
from the
bags.
same Whole Foods.
And mini bags. I never pay for bags on the way out. Look, I don't. I'm sorry. That's a California state requirement. If they do that, they're just passing the cost off on to you. So if I'm doing self-checkout, I'll take my own fucking bag. You put them there. I'm not going to say that how many bags I used. I'm sorry. Call me unethical. Call me whatever you want. I'm not paying for bags because that's a government requirement. And if you want to satisfy that for you to operate in a state, you can do that. I'm not paying the 10 cents. I've saved a full $1. And the number of times I've gone to Whole Foods.
In the past year.
Yes. But they've given me, I've done pretty good because I get free merch. Also, because I use the Amazon thing, I get Amazon points. And I realized that I had like $200 in Amazon cash to use a couple weeks ago. So I was like, okay, I'm earning things. I'm doing well.
So you made me think of something else. Because, when you brought up the whole, I don't have the list of people who work here. We did have the list of people who worked at that Starbucks we went to yesterday. So we were up in LA, and we went to your Studio City Starbucks.
My favorite Starbucks.
But for a Pride Month promotion or whatever, by the register, they had every person who works there and their pronouns.
Oh, yes.
They had a picture of everyone who works there with their pronouns, and I so badly wanted to take a picture of it because some of these were so unhinged. And I didn't want to be like that guy who, like, everyone behind the counter is now going to spit in my drink because I've gone there frequently
first
with
of all,
you.
They would. I love them, and they would. Second of all, I'm going to put my own Polaroid there and put the craziest pronouns I can find.
There was a picture of a man. It was a man with a full beard, no wig, no makeup, not in a dress or anything. It was a man, and the pronouns underneath was she, they. And I said to myself, I'm going, say what now?
I love him too, and I don't even know. I think that I honestly think they compete. Because after they had the first where it was a couple of they, them. By the way, this Starbucks is not in a gay neighborhood at all. The West Hollywood Starbucks was just gays. No one had pronouns, nothing, and now it's closed. This one has the most diverse of every sexuality thing. I think some of them are intersex. I don't even know. It has everybody.
And I will say, they are extremely kind, extremely nice.
Oh, I love them. They're
extremely competent workers. Like, they're good people. They're good workers.
But it's so fun.
But they're insane. Because the other thing is the woman that we know, that we see there quite often, again, I think goes by they, them pronouns.
I think she goes by he, they. Oh shit. Do you know how hard it is for me to say
this is my problem?
Referring to this person, and I say like, oh, I can't say is she working today, because in any other in any other place and time she'd be a lesbian.
Right.
She's just a lesbian. That's fine.
And again, very nice and
wonderful.
Frankly, she's good looking. She's a good looking person. But when I was sitting there and we were bantering back and forth because you mentioned, oh, you're not wearing your hat, because she always wears the hat and she looks good in one.
This person always wears a hat.
Yes. I almost said, and I had to stop myself because I almost said out loud so this person could hear to you, oh yeah, I almost didn't recognize her. And I stopped myself and I directed it to the person we're talking. I almost didn't recognize you because I had to.
Yes!
I had to be safe. I had to be like.
You figured out how I have to sublimate myself every single day. I have to say you, and so I talk to everybody in this Orwellian way in that Starbucks. I'm like, "How are you? Oh, you!" And I just point now, like an invalid. So I cannot say, are they working today? Is she working today? Is he working today?
Is it working today?
No, I can't do it. And I don't. Here's the other thing too. They just be writing on those name tags and designing stuff, and half of them don't even wear them anymore. I know the names of the people who have been there forever, but they get new people, and I don't know what this person's name is, and their name tag says something like "honey," and I'm like, okay, that's not your name, first of all. Second of all, like, you know, or their name tag says like "ask me about racism." I don't fucking know. So they've really, I mean, it's the last. You know what? After this is why I feel bad. Someone went in, whoever has the best handwriting there, and drew like a pride flag in the window, and it was like "Happy Gay" and everything, like "Happy Gay." And the ink ran, so it's just this melted pride flag in the window, and it looks so horrible. And I had to take a picture of it.
But
well,
that sign has only been there since
that's brand
June.
new.
Yes, so. And I think they're probably going to keep it, but it says on the top, like, we have pride in ourselves or something like that. And then it's every one of their pictures with their pronouns underneath. And I'm just like, you have a beard and you are asking me to call you she, they. Like,
That's
you are
not
not
fair.
even trying.
I think that there needs to be two separate rules. I think it's okay if you're a Starbucks barista to use whatever pronouns you want. If you are not a Starbucks barista or employed by the Starbucks Corporation, you are not allowed to use. That's the compromise that will save America. Because, look, you can learn your barista's pronouns. I'm not learning 30 other people's pronouns. I'm sorry. And I'm not going to... And the most insidious one is in the email signatures. That's evil. That's nasty corporatism where it's like, Walter, he/they. Okay, you know what, Walter? You can go straight to hell. Like, that's not... You can't say that I refer to you in one thing in one tone, and if I'm referring to you in the other, I have to use a different one. That's just sick. There's no such thing as a he, they, or a she, they. That's insanely... That needs to stop. That's insanely wrong. You have to go all one direction.
Like the band. No, I so wish I had taken a picture. I so wish I had had the balls to just take a picture. But that faggot behind the counter
had the balls and would not have appreciated you taking
he
a
was
picture.
staring at us like,
I saw you ready, and you were like, I knew that was not going to happen.
But no one's going to believe us because we make shit up. No, we don't make shit up.
No, and I don't want to take a picture of it because they're literally doxing every person there.
Yeah.
So, I also love them too much, and I would die for them. So,
last thing is because this wouldn't be a cultural / ranting podcast if we didn't talk about alcohol. Your gin, that's quite good.
Gin Mare. I have to read the label. Let me go grab it. Let's start talking about it.
Well, gin is not my favorite. When I'm in a mood, I will drink it. The biggest cocktail I drink with gin is French 75. So I don't go through
Which
it
a lot
often.
of gin drinkers don't drink.
It's a New Orleans thing.
Yeah.
But I don't drink gin that often, and when I do, it needs to be fairly good, I guess. But I've enjoyed the Empress gin.
Empress
that you've
is
had.
good. It's purple because it has pea blossom
And
flower in it.
And I also
And it changes color when you add citrus because the
right.
acidity.
I've also enjoyed. I mean, Hendrix is not bad.
Hendrix is very good because it's a cucumber gin. So it's very clean. It works good for everything except for a martini. And Hendrix martini tastes weird because cucumber and olive, and it's kind of like, it's very strange.
But this is very good because I put it in a gin mule, which is by itself kind of a strange
London
concept, but
Because it's a London mule. A Moscow mule is vodka. A
Right.
London mule is gin.
and I've never had
A
a
Mexican
Mexican
mule?
mule.
That's kind of
That
nasty.
sounds nasty.
No, that was like the tequilification or the mezcalification of everything. Like, you don't have to have tequila and mezcal and everything. So this is
This one's very clean and very
yes.
good.
So during the global panini, I sampled about every fucking alcohol I could get my hands on.
Right.
I got weird stuff. I got weird liqueurs, but I really went through the catalog of gins that have kind of exploded over the past few years after Hendrix became a more popular gin. And so I found that very small place called Flask in Studio City sold this, as well as Total Wine. And so it's not by far my I have two favorite gins. One is Mahone, which is a very obscure Spanish gin. It's in like a wicker covered green bottle. It looks like something you found in a shipwreck, and it has the two liquid lips on the side,
Like the
Like the
Italian
Titanic.
restaurant Chianti.
Yes, it looks like a Chianti bottle, and like a tall, skinny Chianti bottle, and then of course Plymouth, which makes for the best martinis. Musa and Frank. So it's out of Plymouth when I went there earlier, and it was my personal 911. But this is called Gin Mare. It's a Mediterranean gin, and so it's a grain neutral spirit. But it says it's a. They don't pay for this, by the way. But I'll be their fucking sponsor. Like, their shit's good. It's blending individual distillations of Arbequina olives, thyme, rosemary, basil, cardamom, coriander, and juniper berries, gathered from our own farms, and citrus fruits soaked in advance for more than a year in special large clay jars. It is the cleanest. It makes Hendrix taste like fucking paint thinner by comparison. Like, it is the cleanest, clearest. We were here this weekend. We all had quite a few gin and tonics with this, and everyone felt great. Like,
Well, I
it's
will say,
very good.
now that you mention it, I think I do almost taste hints of rosemary,
Yes.
which is not
It's herbal.
normal.
St. George's has their green gin, their Terroir. I always mispronounce it.
Terroir.
Yes, from Northern California is also that's one of my favorites too, and a very obscure gin. And that was the place in Baton Rouge that at that bar where they make any kind of cocktail you want from any. They have a library wall of things. They had St. George's Terroir, and they had Strega, which is an Italian botanical herbal liqueur, very strong, yellow, very strange. I asked them to make a cocktail of the two of them, and they fucking did it. It was like a bee's knees. It was so good. But, yes. So, Gin Mare, M-A-R-E. Look for it at your Total Wine. It's moderately priced, and it is very, very clean.
Oh wow, and it's higher in alcohol content.
Oh, is it high proof?
Well, it's
42.7?
normal-
Oh, it's not 40.
Yeah, normal is 40,
Oh, God.
so it's 42.
Yeah, even... I'm very, very happy by it. You get more. So,
May I ask?
it's like 30-something bucks.
I was about to say it's
Like
not a
32,
large bottle.
33. It's a regular 750, yeah. It's like 32, 33. It's cheaper than Hendrix.
Is it?
Yeah, Hendrix can be like 40 bucks. It's about the same price as Plymouth and St. George and some of the other ones. And then the other one that I really love, there's a weird cardamom one I had. Old Raj, which is that's overproof. There's an overproof Plymouth that's about 57%. That's heavy duty. And then Sipsmith, London, has an overproof that's about, I think, almost 60%. It's a $70 bottle, and it's, that's, oh,
Isn't Everclear 80%?
pretty close, yeah.
Like true Everclear
Yeah.
that you buy in, not pussy
Another
states
state.
like California.
Pussy state.
Yeah, so hand grenades made in New Orleans have the 160 proof, the 80%.
You sell the hand grenade plastic cups up there with the little floaties.
It hits you. It hits you.
It hits you in the weirdest way because you'll just be drinking it and it tastes like, oh, it tastes like melon. This is fun. Like, it's, fun and fun and flirty. And you're walking down and then you make a left off of Bourbon Street. I think it was Bourbon Street towards Royal. And you make a left and all of a sudden everything moves. And you're like, oh.
But it's the most dangerous because in the summer when it's really hot
and you're thirsty
and these are really cold because they're frozen.
Yes.
You're chugging it literally because you're like, this feels so good. It's so cold. It feels so good going down. And then all of a sudden you're like, what did I do? Because that's why they call it a hand grenade. Because you basically, in the summer, you chug it and you're just like,
and all of a sudden,
oh, I've made a large mistake.
Yes. And by the way, I think there was a bigger one. Like, we got the big souvenir comes, but they have one that's like a fucking Vuvuzela with a thing on the end. So, all I know is that getting back to the prices of things, though, those are cheap too, like $9-10 in New Orleans. But getting back to the prices of things, I don't hear any presidential candidate talking about quality of life issues other than I hear Trump talking about it. Things are more expensive now. The dangers of illegal immigration, things like that. I hear Marianne Williamson talking about it from a healthcare perspective and a government spending perspective. I used to hear Bernie talk about it, but he's been fucking quiet, in one of his vacation homes. And I'm hearing RFK Jr. talk about it, talking about the foods we eat, the medications we take, and things like that. And I think that it should be a prerequisite that someone running for political office should have an understanding of quality of life either being good or bad in this country. And it seems like something where Biden is woefully gone and out of touch. And by Biden, I mean his advisors. Because the only way that they've talked about that is he's like, well, you can be gay in this country and get married in the morning and kicked out of a restaurant in the afternoon, which A, doesn't happen, and B, is such a wild, strange case that affects affects no one, basically. So I want to hear more people talk about, look, this is what your meal cost 2 years ago. This is what it costs now. This is how much you're paying for this, and have real concrete solutions. Say, look, if we produce these things domestically, it will cost less. It's going to take a little bit of struggle to get there, but we have to do it. This is how we can get healthcare costs down. If we increase nutrition, we don't have to rely so much on the healthcare system, and healthcare can be cheaper. Things like that I think would really be talking about people's quality of life. But it seems like I don't know why the left has left that subject, because it used to be where they won. Whether you're a union worker or you're black or you're working class or whatever, they just thrown everybody out the window in chasing of these smaller and smaller margins of people.
Things have just changed so drastically in the last 6 to 8 years. I mean, Republicans used to be the party that was, so big on defense spending and
yes,
kind of, they called them war hawks and stuff like that. And now it's the other side. Trump didn't start any wars. Trump actually made peace with certain countries and had good repartee and diplomacy. But now, the Democrats are all pro-war and wanting to get involved in skirmishes that we have nothing to do with. It's just
a very
weird
switch.
Very weird. And it happened fairly quickly.
Yeah, it happened very quickly, and it was... I think that the effects are interesting now because you see, especially in the left, people are having to, bend themselves into this strange shape. It'll be like, everything's fine. It's not fine. Everything's fine. Re-elect us. We'll make it more fine. We're still working. And that's a very odd shape to be in. And you have some people on the right who are completely ignorant to how people actually live and are sitting there trying to make the conservative case for drag queens in schools. So it just doesn't make any sense to me that there's people so removed from the everyday conversation. And that's why Trump did well, because his gripes are the gripes of the American people. Him recognizing people are upset that they're losing their jobs to people coming into this country and taking their jobs from them. People are upset that things cost more than they should have. People are upset that we're involved in expensive conflicts that we shouldn't be, and we're losing blood and treasure and, soldiers, and that's something that affects real people.
Which is probably why people are willing to turn the other way and say, we don't care that he made some mistakes and got caught with his pants around his ankles a little bit.
I don't
with
care
this stuff.
where his documents were. I really
Well,
don't.
no, but the thing is, I guess technically he broke some laws,
It's going to be
but-
hard for them to prove.
but we can look the other way because he's the only person legitimately talking about what we want him to talk about.
Right.
So I don't understand why others are not picking up on that. I mean, as you mentioned,
I do
Marianne
think-
Williamson and RFK, but
But I do because it's not a convenient truth. Because people's immediate thing is like, why haven't you been working on this? Why aren't you focusing on this? And I have to say, I think the only one who really is somewhat connected to the American people is Biden. It's the people around him who aren't. I think that he has at least a slight understanding that bringing jobs back to this country is a good thing and has been working in that direction. Yeah, it's not going to do enough. It's not going to do anything, really, but it at least makes people feel better. But the other people in his administration have zero interest in doing anything like that. So, I don't know. Who's gonna make sure that we have cheaper Whole Foods trips in the future? I don't know.
not Biden.
No. And on
So-
that note,
Biden, just like all of you, can go fuck yourselves.
ah,